today evening you talk. I am Captain Vipul Choudhary. Uh, I welcome Colonel Kochhar and Colonel Minwala to the talk. Uh, a brief about Value Talk. This was co-founded by self, Colonel Kochhar and Major Jayesh Varma Shaurya Chakra. We are also supported by Colonel Birat Sahai, Colonel Praveen Gupta, Colonel Rohit Agarwal, and Captain Gurpreet Singh in our endeavor. About the host today, Colonel Kochhar served for 20 years as a Signal Corps officer, and after that, he has been a project management professional with a state in Nigeria, and also he worked with Sterling Technologies as a project manager, and now he's a full-fledged, full-spectrum career and transition coach. And then we have with us the guest for the evening. Welcome, Cyrus sir. Colonel Cyrus Minwala is an ex-RIMC alumni, ex-NDA, and then he served for glorious 20 years with 11 mechanized, which is from the 18 Rajputana Rifles. And after that, he did his HR from XLRI, and then he has been with the Tata projects as head HR for the government vertical for last 13 plus years. And now he's moving on to bigger responsibilities in Africa as the chief executive officer of an Indian subsidiary. So I hand it over to you, Colonel Kochhar and Colonel Minwala, and welcome everyone.
Thank you, Vipul. Cyrus sir, welcome to the show.
Many thanks, Manish.
It's great connecting with you here, sir. I mean, इससे अच्छा guest speaker हमारे लिए कोई हो नहीं सकता था. You have a full spectrum experience, sir. You have been in HR, you have been a veteran yourself, and you are moving into a business role. So I don't think that we could have asked for more for the people who are transitioning or planning to transition into corporate sector, sir. So, sir, बहुत लोग ना काफी डरे हुए हैं. Lot of people have been messaging me that, sir, the recession is setting in. Is it the right time to come out? People have already put in their papers. Their papers are sanctioned also. I mean, their release is sanctioned. And now they are having a second thought. So what is the hiring trend, sir? People say recession is setting in.
Manish, I don't think there's any recession setting in right now. There was a recession sometime in 2008 rather. And since then, things have improved. And even with the last about year and a half, things have improved substantially. So currently, I do not think that there is a recession. Hiring is on the uptake. And I don't think there's any issue for any apprehension. There are a lot of jobs available in the market at all. Sure.
Sir, you are not realizing, but your one statement, this statement has, assured so many people. And it's heartening to know that, I mean, those recession fears are not so serious, and hiring is on the uptrend. So it's a very.
So I'll also just clarify. A lot of manufacturing jobs are coming up because of the self-reliance push of the Prime Minister. The infrastructure is booming like anything. Services are booming, infra is booming, manufacturing is booming. So I don't know where this recession aspect has come from. No, it's not there.
Very heartening to know that, sir. I'm sure that a lot of people will find this statement quite reassuring. So, sir, you have been an HR head. First of all, there is a. So I just saw you. You may be aware that we have a Telegram channel, and there are around 3,700 odd people in that. And so I saw a debate going on there recently that it is very difficult to get into HR for a veteran, which it is. But it is looking at you. You have been in the HR domain for more than a decade, and can you tell us something about this? I mean, though it is very different. The HR in the corporate sector and what we do in the defense services, these are two very, very different things. But then, how difficult is to get into HR in the corporate sector for an officer who's transitioning maybe after 10 years or 15, 20 years?
Right. So let me also clarify, Manish, that the CHRO, the Chief Human Resources Officer of Voltas, he's an ex-infantry officer.
Lovely, sir.
Narendran, I think his name is, if I recall, Narendra or Narendran. And I've seen a few army officers or let's say service officers in HR. I transitioned into HR after about 3 years of service in Tata Projects. So I joined Tata Projects as head of administration, that is global head of administration. I was given additional role of material management and project logistics, which I continued till 2013. In 2012, I did my course from XLRI. It was a 1-year satellite program with certain contact days.
Right.
And then based on that, and I think I got this breakthrough in my own company in HR, and I think I adjusted to that role very well. And there is nothing that a service officer cannot do in HR. There are certain technical things in HR. Compensation and benefits is a very technical thing. Statutory compliance is a very technical thing. Apart
Right.
from that, being an HR BP, which generally stands for HR business partner, I think any service officer with any reasonable degree of intelligence and common sense can do that job. It is always better to do a certification program from a good college, for example, XLRI, and get yourself certified to some extent, and then apply for HR roles. Having said that, HR department themselves are slightly more skeptical in taking service people in HR rather than in operations or security or other roles. But I have seen service people getting into HR, no problem at all.
Very, that's again one thing which is very heartening to know. And also for the audience, please note that he did his MBA or course from XLRI while he was in some other role, and then he switched to HR. So it is very much, that is also one way to do it. So you can always first establish yourself in the industry and then see for yourself where all you have your interests, and then do a relevant course, acquire the qualification, and then you can probably make a switch, whether it is HR or any other field. So that is also one way to do it.
So Manish,
sir,
I think if I may interrupt you here, I think perhaps you may ask me this question later on, but it is worthwhile explaining this now.
Sure, sir.
Doing an MBA or doing a certification course.
Oh, sir, I'm coming to that.
You're coming to that. Right, fine.
I will definitely ask you.
Right.
Okay, sir. Now that you have already initiated this thing, so there is always this debate, sir. MBA online, MBA. Sir, I am doing MBA from Uttarakhand University, or I am doing MBA from Pondicherry University. I keep getting these kind of this thing, and though I have also been clarifying to them, but we would definitely like to know from a person who has been in the industry, especially in the HR domain. MBA online versus MBA regular, and MBA regular from normal tier 2, 3 college, or a good college of repute.
Right. So if someone wants to do his MBA, then let me suggest the slightly harder route. Get selected for the ISB. Get selected for the top 10 or top 15 MBA college by cracking your CAT. Get into that. get into IMT Ghaziabad, FMS, um, MBA
Excellent.
Gurgaon, okay, and then get placed from there. I have seen, when I was in Hyderabad, I have seen at least 2 naval officers who have got into ISB. Both went into Google. Both are doing exceedingly well. Of course, we have the very famous Captain Akhilesh Veer
Yes.
Chakra, who did his MBA. I'm forgetting now whether he did it from FMS or IMT Ghaziabad. I can't recollect that. He got himself placed from there. Now, apart from this route, if you're doing an online MBA program from Symbiosis or from Manipal University or something like that, it really adds no value to your profile.
Right, sir. Yeah, which also I keep getting asked. This question is basically the maths of regular MBA from ISB, IIM, and it costs around 30 to 40 lakh rupees, and uh, IIM online MBA maybe cost 2 3 lakh rupees. So is it economical? Does the math work? So that is also one thing you will. It will be good to hear from you, sir.
There's no maths involved. MBA or online MBA, part-time MBA have got no value.
So, what I think, sir, you are hinting at is that the placement after a regular MBA from a good college uh, fetches you a very good job, highly paid job, and so that math is taken care of.
That math is taken care of. Now, having said that, there are a huge number of opportunities and jobs which do not require an MBA.
Yeah, of
They,
course.
they require your current skill sets which you have right now.
Right.
With certain additions and with certain certifications and specifications. So I think a large number of these IIM 6-month programs have got a placement opportunities. One must use these placement opportunities to get yourself placed using your current skill sets and certain other aspects which we will come to those questions later. But thinking an MBA and online MBA will add to my skill, no, that is may not be totally true.
Yeah, I think what people don't realize is that the alumni, the power of alumni and the branding and the interaction which you have in a classroom environment is totally different, uh, which uh, which cannot be there in to that extent in an online MBA, and that's precisely the reason why the fee structure is so different.
Yes. So if I talk about my company is Tata Projects. It's an infrastructure company. The entry qualification for Tata Projects Limited is a BTech degree. Now, whether someone has done online MBA or some other MBA, it really adds no value to a CV as far as we are concerned, as far as my hiring team is concerned.
Yeah, it also depends. I think, sir, it depends on the role you're applying for. If you're applying for a project management kind of a role, MBA may not add a value. But if you're applying for the business side, then MBA may add a value. So you have to be very sure what you are pursuing. If you, which side you want to go to, right, sir?
Correct. Again, part-time MBAs, online MBAs, generally not taken very seriously in the corporate.
Right. So please note, gentlemen, coming straight from an HR leader himself. So, sir, not only MBA, there is also a debate. In fact, last week uh, we had another talk wherein the guest speaker was highlighting the importance of certain certifications. And I've seen a set of officers are not very convinced that they should add certification to their, uh, whatever experience they have. How important is it to do certain certification? I mean, if you're going for project management, then maybe PMP is one. certification which may help you. Then, if you're going for an IT role, cybersecurity, then maybe a CISSP may help you. But uh, or if you're going in facility management, then maybe a facility management professional certification may help you. How, though we may have been doing the same thing, not the same thing, but in this is something similar in Forge, but is it not good to know the language of the industry, which maybe you learn through these certifications?
Right, Manish? A very important question. And there are certain fields which you have to be certified mandatorily, because otherwise you will not get an entry into that field. You have very rightly brought out the aspects of cybersecurity and other forms of security. There are certain very, very specific certifications which are mandatory, without which you will not get an entry. Or if you get an entry, and unless you do those courses, you will not progress.
So, again, this is for our audience. Though we may have been doing something in defense services and we have the experience in all, but it is always good to learn how it is done outside the defense services. So there are certain relevant certifications. If you are pursuing those fields, then you must aim to upskill yourself. So, sir, you see, as armed forces officer, I have also done a lot of hiring in my previous company, though I was not part of HR, but as HR used to direct it to us and we used to conduct a lot of interviews. I was in Sterlite Technologies, sir. So, and before that, I was in Nigeria. So, armed forces officers come with a lot of baggage. You know, sir, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So, though we keep talking about our strengths, that we bring honesty, integrity to the table. Of course, we have many other strengths. We are very good in emergency response, and we can take decisions, etc. But what are those weaknesses, sir? I mean, I would like to, since you have been on the other side of the fence and you have been doing a lot of hiring. So, what are those top three areas where an officer who's planning to transition, make a career switch, should work upon himself for improvement before making this switch?
There are some 2-3 related aspects to this question, Manish.
Right, for sure.
First aspect is the officer must know why he's leaving.
Very true, sir. Very true.
Okay. So life here is bad, and therefore life in corporate therefore has to be good, is not the correct statement. So the officer must know why he is leaving the army or the navy or the Air Force. That is very, very important. Of course, short service officers do not fall into this category.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, having said that, you must know why you're leaving the army. Is it getting because you have not made it in your board, or you are just bored of the army, or you're looking for money, or you're looking for a new challenge? What are you looking at? You must be very clear before you decide to leave the army.
Very true, sir.
Now, having said that, I've seen a lot of officers, including a lot of my course mates, who left the service a few years back, grabbed the first opportunity which came, without looking at any more options. A large number of them have really suffered. So you must know which industry you want to join. You must know what role you want to apply for. And by just saying that I have served 20 years in the army, so therefore I will get into any role, it may not be absolutely correct. Now, having said all this, the aspects which normally Faujis are not exposed to and therefore remain relatively weak till such time that they upskill is very definitely commercial skills.
Sorry, sir.
Very definitely commercial skills, financial skills.
Right.
Okay. And I think commercial skills and uh, also a large number of people whom I have interacted with haven't done due diligence on the role which they have come across or the company which they have come across. Okay, so I've seen a large number of officers who I think can fit in any role, but when it comes to the interview, they have not studied the role properly, and therefore were unable to answer the questions which were asked in the interview.
Absolutely, sir. I can't agree more. So I will on your first this thing that he should know why he or she is leaving. So incidentally, I just recorded a video today on this only. Know your why. Why are you leaving? Why are you making the switch? Which is very true, sir. And again, even the last part, I just forgot what you mentioned, but that was also very much on my mind. So people have to know, whosoever is making a switch, you have to know your why. Why are you making this career switch? Of course, we are not talking about here uh, those people who are from the city street and making a switch, or who are from short service commission officers who have to hang your uniform, but those who are taking a deliberate decision to make a career switch. Why are you doing it? That is very important to know. And of course, as Cyrus sir brought out, uh, you should not grab the very first opportunity. You have to see what you want to do. You have to match the opportunity with your why. Is there a compatibility? Is there a match in that or not? So another thing which I noticed, in fact, very recently we had certain job opportunities, and we had asked people for sending their resumes, and otherwise also earlier when I was also in job. So at that time also I used to see the resumes running into 6 pages, sir. And I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about army officers. I mean, armed forces officers. Resume running into 6 pages, and none of the page has anything relevant to the related to the job descriptions. So similarly, the LinkedIn profile, everything is there. In fact, uh, all kind of jargon is there. They have everything. They will mention everything: vendor management, supply chain management, all kind of qualities, all kind of heavy keywords are there, but they have not. It very clearly brings out that they have not read the job description. This is for all of all those who are attending. If you people are aware that we had recently floated a job opportunity for Africa, and we'd asked for CVs. Barring one CV, all the resumes which we received, people had not even read the job description. They didn't take the pain to read the job description, gentlemen. Please, it is not about that particular job. Any job you're applying for, the most important step before you apply for any job is to read the job description and read it twice, thrice, highlight the points. What is the recruiter asking for? That is the single most important step which you must do. So, would you please uh, explain the importance of reading the job description and designing your CV around that?
Right. So, Manish, a lot of service officers connect with me on LinkedIn, and
Yes,
I always speak to all of them. I always ask them to send me their CV. So the CV which largely comes to me is by and large the record of service.
You're
So,
right.
yeah. So I have done, company commander, 2IC, CO, staff officer here, staff officer there, this, that, etc. So please understand that a junior recruiter is going to be the first guy who's going to see your CV. And only if he passes his limited intelligence is he going to put that CV to his next higher superior officer. So if you are applying for a project manager's role, your CV should be only designed for a project manager's role.
Absolutely.
If you are going to apply for a security related role, cyber security or any other security, it should be only be designed for cyber security related experiences and aspects which you have got. No one really knows whether you have done high command, staff college, this, that. You know, it really doesn't matter to anybody, and nor is anybody aware of all this. Okay, and whether you are the company commander or commanding officer, no one really knows what all this means. So one must resist the temptation of writing a record of service. Read the job description very carefully. Use some certain keywords from that job description into your CV. Restrict your CV to 2 pages if possible. If not possible, go to 3, but I would say 2 pages is optimum. Give your experiences for the role that you are applying for. These could be security related, these could be facility and administration related, these could be project management related. So I have seen majority of the CVs come as leadership, come as training, come as project management, come as man management, come as HR. So a recruiter is confused. ये बंदा है क्या चीज? Okay, so you know, so he is looking for a project manager. So he is not finding anything in that CV. So he is just putting it on the side. So no recruiter is looking for an all-rounder. A recruiter is looking to close a specific position. Please remember that when you are making your CV.
So, sir, I mean, since you are in the industry and that too in the HR, you have been in the HR domain, which are the sectors which are booming, sir, as far as and from hiring perspective and hiring of defense officers perspective, if you can throw some light on it, sir. Like you have already mentioned, though, that manufacturing sector is one.
So manufacturing is one. I think a large number of defense services officers who have done their BTech in computers, I think they should start tapping IT companies. I see some sort of gap there. I don't think a large number of officers are tapping really, IT companies. Perhaps you should look at that. My competitor company of Tata Projects is Larsen & Toubro, L&T.
Right.
L&T has had a large number of defense officers. Unfortunately, my company is a bit slow in this. I would say rather slow. We have not had too many because a lot of old school companies have got this huge fixation of industry experience. So I think the manufacturing, definitely operations in the field, logistics companies you should clearly look at logistics companies and global logistics companies because they do a lot of things which I think army officers do on an everyday basis.
Right.
So manufacturing, logistics, infra, IT. And of course, there are a large number of security consultants whom you should look at. Also remember the big four, that is Deloitte, KPMG, PwC. Who's the fourth one?
EY.
Yeah. They also have a very, very specific security related domain within their organizations. So one must not rule out these organizations too. And as I said earlier, refrain from the propensity of grabbing hold of the first opportunity which comes. कि बाद में पता नहीं मिले या ना मिले. A lot of these companies are fly by night. very poor culture. And believe me, army officers will not be able to survive in companies which have got very poor culture.
Right. Very true, sir. One advice which you would give to the people who are looking for a career switch?
See, it is very easy for short service officers and officers in the early 30s to get very good jobs. I've seen it happening, and it generally works out well. What happens in the officers who are, let's say, post 45, 50, who my advice is to that category.
Yes.
Firstly, you must understand industry, the corporate and the industry is very, very age sensitive. So anyone who's almost 50, 51, 52, or around that, it becomes very difficult to get an opportunity unless there is someone whom you know very well and that reference is working specifically for you. My advice to senior people in terms of age, if you are in that bracket of early 50s, you are almost near retirement, my sincere recommendation, without any agenda here, is to look for re-employment. I don't think army officers are looking at re-employment in a very, very considered way. I always tell my course are now, I'm 56, so my course mates retired. The colonels, lieutenant colonels retired about 2 years back. Anyone who approached me, I said, please apply for re-employment. Getting a job at 54, 55, 53 is not as easy as everybody thinks.
Friends, don't. It's an advice based on the experience, based on what he has been seeing in the industry. So take it seriously. There are a lot of examples where people have got good job, but then there are so many others who have not. So think about it. If you are on the other side of age, if you are in 54, 55, 53, I mean, elder you are, I don't know what is the right word, but more difficult it is to get a good job. So if you're planning to make a switch, as early as possible is the best advice.
Yes, and largely jobs, especially for non-technical officers, infantry officers, and other non-tech officers, RT, mech infantry, armored corps, non-tech. At that age, largely somebody will put you as a security officer somewhere, somebody will put you as an admin head somewhere, and if you're lucky to get a good company, probably you'll be able to manage. But if you're not able, but if that company is not good, you will be a very, very unhappy person over there.
Right, sir.
Gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work